The official source on Syria casualties, or what mainstream claims is official, is impressive-sounding organisation the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Reuters exposed the fact 3 years ago it was not an organisation at all, or even working in Syria. It's a single pro-insurgent supporter living in Coventry, England. Here pictured at the Foreign Office after instructions from Britain's Foreign Minister himself. In leaked footage, ordinary Syrians told the BBC they're tired of its lies and the insurgents they're cheerleading are a tiny minority led by foreign gangs.
Well, since Russia's air campaign began in Syria, many Western media outlets such as CNN and Al Jazeera have been heavily relying on information from the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights.
The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says that 30 people, including child soldiers, have been killed.
One human rights group says Russian airstrikes killed 28 people.
Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 36 people were killed.
Many Western media outlets have frequently been relying on one information source for facts about the death toll in Syria, that of the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, with such news outlets as CNN, BBC and others using their numbers and figures. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights was founded in May 2006. It's run by only one man, Rami Abdul Rahman, who's a Syrian immigrant to the UK and is based in his two-bedroom home in Coventry. And we travelled to the Midlands to find the headquarters of the observatory and make an attempt to investigate more.
I'm on a train to Coventry, England, to find Rami Abdul Rahman, a Syrian man who opened an obscure website called the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, who follows developments in Syria and kind of makes up the news about deaths, bombings, and he really hates Assad. In a recent story in the Observatory for Human Rights in Syria, this obscure website decided that a Russian airplane killed 30 civilians in the city of Homs, Syria. No one knows which airplane it was. They pretend to have people on the ground and say they're an observatory, but they can't really observe anything. Okay, I left. I didn't know that. The only reason Mr. Rami Abdul Rahman agreed to speak to me is because I stood outside his office/house. When you run a media organization, you should expect journalists to come and ask questions, especially if it's such a shady and unsourced media organization.
I wanted to delve deeper into its work and came across one of the most sensational updates from the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Russian warplanes kill 30 civilians in Homs, published on October the 1st. The targets mentioned are Talbisa, Rastan, and Al-Zafrana. Meanwhile, on the Arabic version of the website, the same date, the same locations, but no mention whatsoever of Russian airstrikes. We only see the words Assad regime. The contradicting reports can still be found on the webpage. Rami Abdul Rahman's organization has been used as a primary source of information when it comes to Syrian civil war atrocities for years. We'd been wondering what makes their activists' reports so credible and widely trusted. Well, after talking to the director, I get it. It's because he trusts them.